Hi everybody and welcome to this month's very special masculine, feminine, divine love, unconditional love, twin flame, twin soul, all of the terms reading for June, and specifically as well for the solstice on the 21st. I am holding one of my love energy baths, and this month with that energy bath, every single person that attends gets a 3 to 5 minute audio 3-card reading. So get a 3-card audio reading on a question of your choice regarding anything if you book the solstice energy bath. So even if you can't make it live, it is recorded, it is sent to you, it is face-to-face with me. It's a face-to-face online meeting for 2 whole hours. Involves a reading for the group and a meditation and channeled messages, whatever wants to come through for the group. So I've already been downloading information for that, for want of a better word, and it seems to be all that's happening right now is just whatever that meeting's going to be about. I'm in a very peaceful, very introspective place. There's also a new moon that's just happened just before I've recorded this. So lots of interesting things, a little bit more of a shuffle. I shuffled thoroughly before I started recording, but they feel as though they need a little bit more. So let's just do this and we shall get going. I wanted to share that the cards are important, but every single word spoken is important. I feel people can get impatient. They just want to see the cards. They think I'm just talking about rubbish or things they're not interested in. Nothing's ever happening by accident. Every single moment in life is a message. And if there's anything that I want to share or gift you with, it is that. Just because it comes through in the cards doesn't mean it's more relevant than what a stranger might mention to you in standing in line waiting for a coffee. It's all sacred and it's all beautiful. It's all holy. And I wish for you to experience that. Right, so off we go. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. So this is interesting. This is this beautiful, gentle, flowing, feminine, unconditional love. There's this peace. I feel this weightedness to her. There's a weightedness. There's a knowing. I'm always really fascinated in the depiction of the cup in this card, because this is the only cup that's got, it's kind of like, you know, it's a bit psychedelic, isn't it? Trying to keep it still. It looks a bit like a robot. There's something technological about that cup. So for me, the Queen of Cups right now, I mean, actually, I have to say, I feel kind of affiliated with her. I feel like she feels a bit like me in this moment. It's like speaking, flowing, whatever's flowing, but with this technology, you know, with this, through this technology. And there's something powerful about that. I feel like it's a message for everyone in that regard about maybe the sacredness of this reading. I would like to share that everything I speak is through me, but not of my opinion. I have, for me, all channeled material, you know, we are all biased. We're supposed to be. We have preference because we have individual and unique journeys. But sometimes the character of me or what is happening through the cards can come up in my personal readings with people or in these general readings as seems to be happening now. And so I can talk about, you know, from a different perspective. I might come up in the message. And it's not solely me, it's a feminine, you know, speaker, sharer, lover, that uses technology to communicate, you know, a technology, it doesn't matter what that is, to communicate love. And that seems to be a very powerful message for this now moment. But because this does also have like a solstice, this is for the, you know, I want this reading feels, you know, very about the solstice. I personally, the character of me, is holding space for that, and it feels very connected to this card. So I feel like it's in the reading. It's just the irony or the humor that what I spoke about before the reading now is in the reading. It's like if you want it to be in the reading, it's in the reading. If you want it to come through the cards, if the cards are more sacred than the words that I speak, if the messages from the cards are better than the words that I speak or the words of anybody, then there you go. Just be careful not to make anything more valuable than anything else. It's different, and does it have a different quality? Yes. Do I personally have a different quality working, sharing in this way than I do not? Absolutely. But it doesn't, one is not better than the other. It's all needed. It's all part of the whole. So if anything, I would like you, if possible, to get really, really sensitive to even just the sound of my voice or the vibration or your experience whilst you're watching this video, or any background noises you may hear, because everything is a message. Everything is an experience, and that is valuable. So throughout the whole of this reading, I would like you to become aware of your experience, not just in the reading, but in and around the reading. And I feel like this is the message from this Queen of Cups. And yes, you know, traditionally also, it's a feminine energy. That, like I said, there's this seatedness to her. There's this solidarity in her. That bank of sand, bejeweled sand she sits upon. There's this abundance to her and this regality to her and this beautiful just kind of staidness. And also the way that she feels like she's kind of playing with that cup. So it's like, can we integrate love, pure, powerful, unconditional love in quote unquote real life, in technology, on the internet, on our phone? Can we allow it to be present in all aspects of life? Can we take it off of the screen? Can we take it out of the yoga studio? Can we take it out of the sky and into our lives? Can we integrate it? That's what I feel like she represents. The integration of powerful, true, pure, feeling, intuitive love into a technology that makes sense. That's what I feel like her message is. So I'm going to go feminine on this side. First card on the feminine side is the Page of Swords. It's a little bit overlit, but I'm going to go with it. Second card for the feminine is the Four of Pentacles. Third card for the feminine, the Hanged Man. Fourth card for the feminine, the Star. Try and good visually as possible. First card for the masculine, the 3 of Pentacles. Second card for the masculine, the 5 of Pentacles. Third card for the masculine, the Queen of Wands. Fourth card for the masculine, the 9 of Cups. That 9 of Cups has been coming out in quite a lot of the little mini readings I've been doing for members of the Solstice Bath, and in general private readings quite a lot. That 9 of Cups is an energy that seems prevalent at this time. Whenever I put the candle in, it always moves around these, but I just think they look okay down here for the middle cards. And then bottom of the deck, that Queen of Cups, I am going to just move these over slightly and put her in the middle, like so. So, what do the rest of the cards have to say in this spread? Oh, there we go. Just want to make sure you can see all the cards. So, first card for the feminine is this Page of Swords. It's this energy of frustration, I feel. Frustration, and it's not frustration. It's like the truth is powerful and it cuts through the cloud. See how in this card, it's like the clouds are parting, the way is parting. This truth that she knows, the truth that she is, and it feels new. It feels like there's this new experience of herself in this truth, and she just wants to take that out into the world and communicate it, and she's getting effective at communicating it. I feel like this is all about the feminine, this everything that I spoke about regarding that Queen of Cups. She's taking that technology of love, the succinctness, the exactness, the deliberateness, the focused aspect of this truth and of beauty and of love, and is cutting through the cloud and the detritus that's in the way, that she wants to cut through. And I'm noticing for the first time, or maybe not the first time, but also noticing the flock of birds. It's that there's kind of like a response in the physical world. It might be slight, but it's happening. But I do feel, like I said at the beginning, as though there could be a little bit of frustration around that, as though it seems like there's effort needed. There's a little bit of effort needed. She might not be received. That Page of Swords may not be received graciously by the world. The world may not be that happy to be delivered, with this truth. The Page of Swords is a young, youthful energy as well. And when it's taken out into the world, it's unapologetic, and really it doesn't think things through, but it doesn't need to. Intuition and truth is not about thinking things through. It's about feeling and communicating in a kind of swift movement, and that's what I feel in this Page of Swords card. And it's just like she's doing it. It's not really of her control. It's happening through her. But it's a new wave, a new experience, and it's different. There's a different experience for her. There's a very different, slightly opposite experience for the masculine with this 3 of Pentacles. This is more staid. It's more focused in on what's happening. It's more slow. It's not about swift change and swift communication. It's about slow, steady, grounded building. It's about working together. It's about hiring skilled people. It's about building. It's about building buildings. It's about creating structures, and it's about utilizing the skills of others in order to create structure together, creating a holy structure. It is holy. There's a holiness to it. This card is about building a cathedral. It takes time. It's about careful, planned, procedural, practical efforts in a team to create something within which. So it's kind of saying that the feminine's more focused on who she is, maybe out in the world. Selfish isn't the word. I mean, selfish is the word, but it's not selfish or self-oriented movement. And this is not self-oriented. It's about the self in a team. It's much more about a team. It's about achieving something together. So it's as though they're on different pages, if you'll excuse the pun. The male masculine side, not always male, but often, is focused upon building, and it's got this solid, grounded energy. And then the feminine's, it's air. The swords are air. It's thought, it's thinking, it's logic, but it's also kind of has a naivety to it, aka an intuitive aspect. And it's very true, very clear, very cutting, but there's movement and swift movement to it. So two very different, kind of seemingly opposed energies there. But then they kind of come and feel very similar. This 4 of Pentacles for the feminine, and then the 5 of Pentacles for the masculine. A very similar feeling energy. They can be kind of lackful. They're about abundance, but they're not necessarily experiencing abundance. So there's this feeling, I feel, that this is about finance, Pentacles. It is about practical, grounded, earthly, material things. Maybe because the feminine she's just being her truth, she has to kind of catch up in terms of feeling abundant and able practically in alignment with that. It might feel like she's, for example, I've had enough of this, I'm going to leave this job. I've had enough of this, I'm going to leave this town. I've had enough of this, I'm going to leave this thing, But it is kind of her life away from the masculine. It's not focused at the masculine. But she could, easily turn her head and be quite cutting and deliberate towards the masculine. But like I said, I feel like they're just on completely different pages, different places, so there's not much interaction in those two energies. But it feels as though, yes, she's like, I've had enough of this, but then she feels like, I have to save. So it doesn't have to be this scenario, but a scenario that fits would be, I'm going to leave this job, but then I'm going to have to kind of like be a bit careful with the pennies. I'm going to have to hold on to what I have. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not actually true. It's because the 4 is about abundance. It is abundant. The figure has a crown on his head. There's wealth there. There's huge wealth and riches there. And I think it is about redefining our experience of wealth. We can have a wealth of health, wealth of wisdom, a wealth of light, power, a wealth of joy. But really it's about appreciation. If you want to experience wealth, really all you want to experience is a wealth of appreciation. And if you have a wealth of appreciation, it's literally impossible for you not to feel wealthy in any circumstance, under any circumstance. And it's not about how much money you have in the bank. Or even, it's not about how much of anything. It's about appreciation and appreciating what one has. Because, comparison is value measuring, basically. Not value, but measurement is about comparison. And there's always going to be comparison. There's always going to be more, and there's always going to be less from where you are, from a perspective. It's just, it's easy. It's irrelevant. It's about being where you are and being in appreciation. Similar, like I said, for this 5. This 5 is, there's a party here, again, it feels connected to this. So it's a little bit like this 3 feels like it's about building this church, and then this church exists with the 4, but he doesn't really have access to it. It feels like maybe he's not experiencing the wealth. He's built something, trying to build something, but then he feels like he's out in the cold and he's not he's not on the team anymore. So there could be even a similar narrative there to do with work, to do with career, with all these 3 out of 4 cards pentacles. It feels very kind of career based. I had this wonderful career in this time where I was working together with people, and now I feel like actually no, I'm out in the cold here. I'm not quite on the team. Even though there are 2 figures here, it's a bit like we've been cut off from practicality. I don't necessarily think that's a negative thing. I feel like it might feel like we're being cut off from the practical world in the way that we've seen it, the way that we've known it. That's what it feels like. It feels like a recalibration. And because there is a bit of a chronological order that moves down, we can see where we're going here, So it's not necessarily a comfortable experience, but it's moving towards brightness and dreams coming true. And there's a lot of compatibility and a lot of symbiosis that's going on with these 2 sides. So the masculine and the feminine, then they kind of have this feeling, and I feel like it is about a bit feeling cut off or not part of the team, or not feeling as though they're really, not feeling like actually not feeling connected. Like the party's over here, I can't quite get to it. I don't have what I need. For the feminine's more like I need to hold on. And the masculine's a bit like, where is it? But it's there. It's not that it's not there. But there's this feeling, I feel, of disconnection for both. But it's okay. And I think we just need to be compassionate in those states. Again, I don't feel like there's necessarily much interaction there. It just feels like a little bit of a solo experience. All of this feels pretty solo, I have to say. They feel separated, like separate experiences. That doesn't mean there isn't communication and, connectedness within it, but it's just there's a focus on the individual experience for this time. Then we've got major arcana, a couple of major arcanas here for the feminine. The Hanged Man. I actually want to pull a few more cards on this Hanged Man, see what other information. Let's pull one more card. Okay, so we've got this 2 of Swords. So this is that there's some kind of decision that needs to be made and action that needs to be taken forward, but she doesn't quite have all the information she needs yet to make that decision, to take that action. So the advice would be, don't take the action until you have more information. If it doesn't feel like it's flowing very naturally in the way this card does, it just kind of flows and it moves and there's no judgment. It's just happening. If it's not happening, it's not quite ready, it's not quite baked, she doesn't have all the information that she needs before she can take action forward. I'm drawn to this moon. So there's just been a new moon, just 24 hours before, 36 hours before I've recorded this, and then this crescent moon here. So I feel like it might, what the moon is building. So maybe it will be the full moon before the decision can be made or the information will be there. It feels something like that. I'm drawn to the moon and how that kind of crescent moon is there, and it's like, okay, we're just going to wait for that enlightenment, because really it's the light, it's the light increasing, the seeing, the ability to see. So it's kind of saying just wait, and it might not be that comfortable. That Hanged Man is upside down. Again, there's this process of, it's like he is being enlightened in this position. He's seeing something from a different perspective. He's seeing it upside down. It's not necessarily fun, but it's necessary. And again, we can see where it's going. The masculine has this Queen of Wands, so I wonder if I'm going to take another card for this Queen of Wands and see what we have for her. Okay, interesting. And I did feel like this is a feminine figure that's over here that he feels able to love. He feels able to love this Queen of Wands. She's fun, she's open, she's communicative, she's energetic, she's passionate, she's creative, she's intuitive. She's, she's all of these things, and he feels that it's easy to love that woman. That's the kind of feminine figure that he is going to find it very easy to love and to communicate with and to be generous with at this time. And then, it's kind of, then it just feels like, no matter what this seeming hardship seems to be, this experience of seeming hardship, or, I do feel like there's a bit of a narrative over here that the feminine feels like she's being who she is, but she feels kind of cut off, and as though she's not feeling very abundant or connected in this experience of being who she is in the world. And neither is he, so it's quite challenging. And then there's this extra challenge, it seems to be, for the feminine. She's not quite sure, there's a decision to make. It's saying wait. And then it's kind of like, whilst this waiting energy is going over here, the masculine, what does he want to do? He just wants to love. He wants someone who's easy to love. He wants a feminine figure it's easy to love in that way. And that's just that message there. But then it seems like it all frees up, and then there's these two very similar energies. The star for me is dreams coming true. It's creativity, it's flow. I love the naked figure. She's free, she's open, she is who she is, she accepts herself, she knows herself, she's healing. I always feel like there's this healing kind of pool. She's connected to nature, she's connected to light. She's, she just kind of makes everybody's dream come true. She's got this angelic but very human quality to her, and it's all about kind of like dreams coming true. And then this Nine of Cups is the wish card, and the emotional fulfillment and the dream coming true. So I feel like both parties are moving towards the dream, and so it's a bit like, don't worry if seems to be bumps in the road, because they are just that. They're just bumps in the road. It's not that it's the wrong road. So you just have to weather that and, move towards this bright experience that we're going to have together. So, like I said, even though feels like there's a separate experience, or a focus on the individual separate experience, there is a togetherness that builds, especially kind of, with these two cards at the end and here. But it's a bit like, if the feminine doesn't feel like she's able to be that character, to be playful, I guess, and I suppose relaxed, and kind of like warm, because there's warmth in that fire in the wands. And which is fine, it doesn't matter, she doesn't need to be that way. Then maybe, she won't feel so loved. She might feel like that she's kind of over here alone, So there's a capacity for that, but there's also a capacity for connection there. Like I said, it doesn't matter, but that's the message. But then with these two cards here, a lot of connectedness, a lot of the similar experience of the dream come true and the dream coming true together. A very big experience of togetherness. Let's see what's at the bottom here. So the root here is the Fool, major arcana, the beginning, presence, being very, very present in the moment, not needing anything, not attaching to anything, not even attaching to non-attachment. I find people like to attach to non-attachment. There's nothing wrong with attachment, but you must learn to, as long as you unattach, it's this constant experience of attaching to a story or an experience and then letting it go. And that's what the Fool does. He's like, I take one step, then that step's gone and the next step happens. But he doesn't go anywhere if he doesn't believe in the ground beneath his feet in that moment to take that step. so that's for me the experience of presence, the experience of conscious awareness in everyday life. Then the crown here is the 2. It's this connectedness that I feel this great connectedness, and I love now that 2 is there. Look, that 2 beneath that beautiful, this is a candle that I found, which is the kind of logo for my weekly Vimeo readings. Love Club on Vimeo, check that out. I'll put the link below this one for the weeklies, because I do a masculine feminine weekly reading. And thank you for everybody that's part of that community. It's a beautiful energy to be part of, and I don't always connect with all of you, so I want to say hello, I want to say thank you. I mean personally connect. But I love that this I just love this. I love this heart, enlightened, lit heart that was kind of delivered to me, and this well, I walked into a shop and it was there, but you know, I felt like it called me in, and this 2 of Cups beneath it, it's living that love, it's living this enlightened love, it's meeting, it's seeing, it's that soul connection, it's being together, being with one another, it's seeing, it's about being seen. Today all of this kind of thinking has been moving through me about being seen, and about how this whole experience is about being seen, and the people that I work with and one-to-one, and the people that I share time with, and about how I see, you know, and it's whether people want to be seen or not. Again, it feels connected to that Page of Swords. When people are faced with your truth, when you share your truth, when we share our truth, we invite others to share their truth, their unique expression of a life through them. And this is 2 beings meeting in this expression and experiencing, seeing one another, being seen and seeing. And you know, this whole story with that pet fool, of what I just explained about that fool energy, about being present and being aware, it might seem like these are opposing energies. Like, this is a very singular, self-oriented experience. There's just me, and there's now, and there's no responsibility, and there's no security, and there's no structure, and there's no nothing. And, you know, that seems different to, oh, here's this other being, and this connectedness, and this team, and this you know, seeing of another, but they are the same. We need both. We are both, and that is what this experience is about. What's the masculine? Wow, lovely. There's a lot of feminine energy over here on this masculine side. A lot of feminine energy in the reading, with the Queen here. We've got the Queen here, and then the High Priestess. You know, and some. You know, it's. This is intuition. You know, this is, I do feel on this masculine side, he feels there's so much more femininity on the masculine side, and probably more masculinity on the feminine side, which is great, which is what we want, because it's about balancing the 2 within us. It's about reaching that kind of flow of the neutrality. So, as I'm saying, like, attach, then unattach. You know, and the flow between the 2, the masculine and the feminine, you know, kind of, we reach this neutral state together, and, you know, the singular experience in the moment, the double experience in the moment, the twin experience in the moment, the mirror experience in the moment. But there is this feminine energy and this intuitive, the word that I often use is the exalted feminine energy with this High Priestess, very present there with the masculine, very just aware and knowing in a beyond what seems to be type of way with that High Priestess from the masculine. And then the feminine's got the 6, which is really interesting. This is another card that's been coming up a lot in the mini audio readings I've been doing. It's, I mean, a lot. It's this experience that the feminine, I feel like her whole world is shifting and her whole world is changing. And this card is all about moving from choppy waters into clear waters. And this feels like, you know, it is this, it's relevant. We kind of need both. But it's that she might not quite have understanding about where she's going. And this can be quite challenging, but I feel like it's healed or experienced more freely with this Fool card. That's how, there's no such thing as this Xxxx experience in this Fool experience. It's like, it doesn't matter. The Fool doesn't need to know anything. That's why he's the Fool. That's why he doesn't know anything. He doesn't need to know anything. He doesn't need to own anything or know anything. He's just traveling. He's just moving. He's just beginning. He's always beginning. He's always the beginning. He's zero. He's always kind of nothing, having an experience. And so if we can engage that, then we can experience this. But again, it's about connecting it to everyday life. It's not about putting presence into a meditation practice or putting presence into a yoga sun salutation or putting presence into, gazing up at the stars. Yes, it exists there, but it is about the practical experience of it. And that's why I like this Fool energy, because he is practical. He exists, he moves, he is connected to the earth. And this is what I feel is happening. There's this integration of, we're becoming practical together in love. It's lining up. It's a collective alignment with true powerful love. But for the feminine, there is still a little bit more of a challenging experience in that she feels like, again, I feel like it is that the masculine's the one in control. The masculine's the one doing the steering. But he isn't really in control either. He's just being moved. He doesn't know he doesn't know what he's doing either. It seems like he's the one in control, but he's just being moved to do whatever he's doing. He has slightly clearer vision than she does. In terms of whatever this journey is, not like in general, not in every single way. She has a much clearer vision of inside the boat, and she has a much clearer vision of what's going on with this child here. She has a much clearer vision of like what's over here. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the larger picture of where they're going, he has more clear vision, and therefore it makes more sense that he's doing the steering. But, there is this experience that he is being moved. And I feel like when we come into presence and awareness, we realize that the other people around us are being moved by life itself, as are we. And then, blame and shame and all of that stuff, and the victim and the abuser and abuse and victimhood and all of those stories kind of fall away because they're not efficient, they're not effective, they're not powerful in terms of giving us what we want, which is basically an experience of love and freedom. So the masculine is allowing himself to be moved. He is allowing his intuition to move him. He doesn't necessarily know anything either. There's no knowing really over here. There's no Ace of Swords. There's no, do you know what I mean? There aren't any swords at all. It's just very experiential over here. And in the moment. And there's definitely in the moment going on over here with the feminine too, but in this Xxxx, it's only that in the moment that's going to make that Xxxx okay. Otherwise, it's going to be, let's try and work this out. I want to see where I'm going. If she spends time trying to work out where she's going. And again, it's this experience that she isn't in control of being moved towards the masculine. The masculine is moving her towards him. And if she resists that experience, then it can be challenging. But if she just allows that experience and gets curious about what's going on here, in her experience here, then it can be enjoyable. Oh, that was easy. Oh, this bloomin' 8 of Swords. I mean, seriously. The reason why it's taken me a while to get this out for this month is because of this energy that's just been personally
frustrating me. And it's a collective thing, and it's connected to these 6 and this 8. It's just been like a repeated message that I'm just kind of bored of translating, or of providing, of sharing, to be honest. It's because it's just not that fun. But the new layer I have for this 8, so this 8, if we try to work it out, we're going to feel trapped. We're going to feel, it's the experience of being trapped when we're not trapped. How do we experience freedom in the trappedness? Again, it's just being where we are. So experience being trapped or feeling trapped by your own thoughts, by your own thinking. Be aware, I'm experiencing. So the experience of this 8 is I have all these thoughts, and I feel trapped in this experience. And then the ego essentially says, I shouldn't be feeling trapped. Oh, I know it's just my thoughts that make me feel trapped. That this shouldn't be happening. The only thought that ever hurts is this shouldn't be happening. What we want to try and not think, basically, if that's possible, or basically it's not to judge what is happening. So if the experience is that I'm having all these thoughts and I'm feeling trapped, great, who cares? I'm having loads of thoughts about it. I'm trying to work it out. I don't see a way out. I just feel absolutely trapped. And you can say it like that and be like, guess what? I feel utterly trapped, as though I can't move. There's no movement forward. There's no way out. I know that there's an aspect of me that knows that that's not true, but this is my experience, and I'm going to honor it, and I'm going to be here in this trapped feeling. Oh, fly said hello. So that's what this 8 is saying. So it's like, give yourself permission to feel trapped in your own experience, or trapped in your trying to work things out, or trying to get out. It feels like it's saying, let's just be unaware. Let's not see, connected to the 6. Let's be okay with not being able to see a way out of where we are. But it is really, if you try to think your way out, or if you try to think your way through anything, so it's not like you even need to get out. It's like if you try to create some kind of understanding around your experience over these few weeks, that is not going to create freedom. Understanding in this circumstance, and if you're watching this, understanding anything you believe, a belief, something that you understand, the experience of understanding it intellectually, anything, is not going to create an experience of freedom for you, unless you can be okay with not experiencing freedom. Because there is freedom in not experiencing freedom. If you can just be like, okay, I'm free, I don't feel trapped by not experiencing freedom. We can feel free in the trappedness by just letting it be, by allowing ourselves to be there. Because whatever moment we're in, whatever experience we're in, if we go into it, we will find the door to a different experience. It's always within the heart of what we're experiencing. And so maybe that's why this 8 is recurring and recurring and recurring. Though I have to be honest, that's not what I feel. What I feel is that there are greater aspects at play. There's a timing of things that is beyond what we are able to kind of push through, I guess, in our own experience. There's a collective timing of things that means we're not supposed to see, we're not supposed to be, not supposed to be moving forward, but it's that life wants us to experience this 8. And we have to let go of reasoning why. There's no reason why we're experiencing this 8. But other than we are experiencing it. And that's why it keeps coming up. And if we try to think our way again, to reason or think, but I really feel like it's about breaking down every single belief that we have. That's why this 8 keeps coming up. It's like we don't get to attach to a belief, because essentially when the swords build up, when we attach to it, this is true and this is right and this is this, and it doesn't move, then we start to build cages around ourselves. It's much more the experience of, here's some truth with a sword, here's some other, then get rid of it. Then let it go, set it free, and then find another truth, and then find another truth, and then find another truth in the moment, rather than building a system of belief. I had a conversation about, people talking about, you've got multiple twin flames, and, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter. I truly don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter what your experience is. Everybody has a different experience of love. And by trying to define love, we just keep creating this for ourselves. And love is love. It's not supposed to be defined. It's meant to be experienced. And that's truly what that 8 is about. So thank you very much, 8. I'm sorry, 8 of Swords. I apologise for not listening. So, thank you. And to finish, I am going to pull, as usual, still on the Journey of Love, Alana Fairchild, Rasuli, Richard Cohen, beautiful oracle cards. So let's just pull one. I feel like I just want to do a bit of a play around. Let's find this one. Oops. Oh, gorgeous. Wow. Oh, we like this one. Number 11, Eruption of Light. Your every prayer is a power-packed eruption of light beamed into the divine presence. Some pray with fear or doubt, as though the prayer is not doing much at all. Yet you understand that prayer is powerful, that it is divine action set in motion. Your power of divine prayer emerges from your heart and out through your throat, whether you speak or sing your prayer silently within your own mind or aloud for all the world to hear. Let your prayers be vocalized as feeling expressed to the divine, in words or song if you choose. You have the power to heal at your fingertips and vocal cords. Through your voice, you can heal. Let your hands be joined in prayer position at your heart and your mouth open to let the breath of your spirit move through your throat, creating sound. As you speak it, so shall it be. Your words have more power than you may realize, and you have a special ability to heal with words, to bring light where it is needed, and to uplift through simple kindness spoken. You also have a message to bring. It might be an urge to write or speak on topics that are close to your heart. You may also simply have the need at a soul level to share from the heart with others when you are engaged in conversations. The oracle says your voice is part of your power. Do use it. And the poem is, life begins with love. To complete itself again, symmetry is born. Life begins with love. To complete itself again, symmetry is born. We are all born of two. And so to then experience that creation, that moment
of what we are made, of which we are made, with another in love is full circle, to complete itself. What I would also like to add to that is to understand that every word you speak is prayer. And it's not to believe that, it's not to preach or teach, it's purely to share. And again, I feel as though I want to pass on the message that every single exchange of words is holy, even if it's just a stranger in line for coffee. So just to experience this sacredness and this holiness in every single exchange of words, and not just the words that come out of our own mouths, but the words that come out of others' mouths, to hear all word as holy, to hear the prayers of others as they are spoken to us, to engage fully in prayer, to truly experience life as song, as prayer. Again, another message, the messages that come through songs, whether we are hearing or speaking or singing them. Just to be sensitive to the messages that are always being given and received by us. And I truly do believe that in that experience, we do experience ourselves as being moved by the divine. And we cease to try to control or understand. And within that, there is true freedom. Please do join me on the 21st. The link will be below. It would be my pure pleasure and joy. Every single person that is on this solstice energy bath will receive a personal, private 3-card audio reading within 48 hours of booking. So please do so if that feels relevant to you. If you can't make it live, you just put your time zone in. If you can't make the live time, don't worry. You will receive the recording and you will be there. I wanted to share that even recently. I don't feel like I want to date anything. I mean, everything is uploaded on a date and you can see when the date it was given is, and it is relevant to a certain extent. But I also do believe that time, and my experience is that time is so non-linear that it truly doesn't matter if you're watching this a year, 2 years later, or, and you are present with me now. Even though this is being recorded before you're watching it, you are present. We are sharing this together now in this moment. It's miracles. Every time you watch a video on your YouTube, you're experiencing some kind of miracle of consciousness and you are time traveling. It's so beautiful. So you will be there, even if you're not there at that time and moment. You are, and I have people that know that and completely understand that if they are booked on the call, then they're on the call, and they feel that. And I speak to you before you hear. It's time travel, and it's beautiful. It's a miracle. Life truly is a miracle. I appreciate you in it. You are a miracle. You are made of love and born of love. This is all just about remembering who and what you are. Thank you. I cannot know myself without you. And I love this experience with you. So thank you. Have a beautiful month or so. I'm available every week on Vimeo. And as and when the energy baths occur. Lots and lots of love. Thank you again. And I shall see you again very soon.